Good evening, everyone. Hello, everyone. I think I'm audible to everyone. If I'm audible, please respond me back. Okay, so I think I'm audible. Right. So, today we are going to discuss a topic which is an important topic, not exactly important, but there will be questions from that. That's nothing but the ages problem. So, ages problem is moreover related to the ratios part as well as algebraic expressions, right? So, let's talk about this. We'll be working on age based format. We will discuss some of the basic concepts, not exactly concepts because there is no specific concept in ages part, and some of the basic techniques to work on this. So let's directly move to the format. The important concepts which you need to keep in mind here is nothing but the normal ratio, right? We'll be dealing with the ratio part here. Like suppose it's given the age of father is 5 times of son. What does that represent? Father's age and son's age is in the ratio of 5:1. Also we can say father's age will be definitely a multiple of 5 and son's age is definitely a multiple of 1, right? That's the basic thing which you need to identify in these cases here. Or else my relations, there will be relations which you need to keep in mind, which will be more over related to the algebraic expressions. So we will be dealing with algebraic expressions here. So what do you mean by algebraic expressions? It's given that suppose my condition given is father's age is 5 times of son's age. After 8 years it becomes 4 times. So what will your father's age suppose? So that means my condition is father's age I'll consider as 5x and son's age as x. My new condition is 5x plus 8 divided by x plus 8 is nothing but in the ratio 4:1, right? So that's a basic condition here, right? So that's my basic representation here, which we'll try to work on this. So that's what 5x plus 8 is equal to 4x plus 32, right? That represents the value x. It will come towards this side and this will come towards this side is nothing but 32 minus 8 is nothing but 24, right? X value is nothing but 24 in this case, right? Although this will not satisfy this condition because according to this father's age should be a multiple of 5, but I'm just giving you a normal example how to work on in these formats here, right? So either I'll work on the ratios or else I'll work on the algebraic expressions, right? These are the two things which you need to keep in mind. So we'll directly move to the questions. Let's try to identify some of the basic questions. Now father is age 3 times more than. Now what do you mean by 3 times more than? That means if Rohit's age is x, father's age is nothing but 4x. It's 3 times more, right? So 3 times more means what? If it's x, that means x plus 3x, which represent 4x here. After 8 years he would be 2.5 times of Rohit's age, right? After further how many years? So that means first condition is given father's age and Rohit's age is in the ratio of 4, or let's say 4x and x are the values, right? After 8 years, that means I'll be adding 8 to both the values. He would be 2.5 times of Rohit's age. That means they will be in the ratio of 5:2. That's the condition here. So I can find out the value of x. That's the first thing. So let's try to find out the value of x here. So saying but 8x plus 16 is equal to 5x plus 40, right? So now the value is how much? I'll subtract this value here. So my value is nothing but 3x should be equal to 40 minus 16, 24. X value is nothing but 8, right? So that means for x, Rohit's age was nothing but 8 and father's age is nothing but 32, right? That's the condition given. After further 8 years, how many? That means plus 16, right? So my condition is it's 32 plus 16 divided by 8 plus 16, right, is my format. So let's add these two values, 32 and 16, that's nothing but 48, and this is 24, that's nothing but 2 times. My value will be nothing but 2 times in this case, right? So second thing is you can definitely go by the options. Earlier it was 3 times more, that means 4 times. Now it's 2.5 times, that means it will be definitely lesser than 2.5 times. So I'll go for that option, which is less than 2.5 times. 2.5 times lesser than that is nothing but this value, 2 times, right? That's my basic representation. So I can always go by the options to work on. A father said to his son, I was as old as you were at the present age at the time of your birth, right? Find the father's age. If the father's age is 38 years now, the son's age 5 years back was. So a father said to his son, I was as old as you. So son's present age is, suppose I'll mark son's present age is equal to x, right? So father's present age will be how much? Can you identify father's present age will be how much? It's given I was as old as you were at the time of, so that means son's age at the time of his birth was nothing but, let's say birth here is equal to 0. So father's age at the time of the birth of this one will be what, x. That means now this value is how much? X plus x. That's the basic representation here. Or else father's age is equal to twice of x. If the father's age is 38, so this value is nothing but 38 here. That means x value is how much? 19, right? So x value is nothing but 19 here. If x value is 19, if the father's age is 38 now, the son's age is 5 years back. So they want 5 years back. That means 19 minus 5, 14 will be the value here. My value is supposed to be 14 in this case. A is 2 years older than B, who is twice as old as C. Now B is twice as old as C. So let's consider C's age is nothing but x. That means B will be how much? Twice of x, and A now is nothing but how much? A is 2 years older than B. That means 2x plus 2 is the format. If A, B and C, the summation is 27. So let's find out the value here. Let's add the values here. So A plus B plus C is equal to 5x plus 2, which is equal to 27. So 5x is nothing but 25, x value is nothing but 5. If x value is 5, C is 5, this value is nothing but 10, and this value is nothing but 12, right? They are talking about B's age. B's age now is nothing but D, 10 years, right? So although the format is very easy, maximum time you have to identify the relations and you have to work on. So present age of Samir and Anand are in the ratio of 5:4. 3 years hence the ratio of their ages will become 11:9. Find the Anand's present age. So first thing is, I have two equations, so cannot be determined, cannot be the answer here, right? So I can identify this thing. Second thing is, if I'll go by the option, let's try to identify through the options first. Anand's age is a multiple of 4 presently. So multiple of 4, I have this value as a multiple of 4, this value is a multiple of 4. 3 years hence, the ages are in the ratio of 11:9. That means Anand's age now after 3 years is nothing but a multiple of 9. So if we'll do 24 plus 3, the value is 27, which is a multiple of 9. 40 plus 3, which is 43, which cannot be a multiple of 9. That means possibly my answer is definitely A here, right? That is a basic thing which you can identify. The good part with ages problems is you can always go through options to find out the relation. So first check the options, identify the relations, and then try to work on the values. That's an important part which you need to keep in mind in the case of ages problem. But let's go by the basic calculation now. Suppose if more options are there which are in this format, obviously it's not possible because two ratios are given. That means only one value will be there which will satisfy the condition. So present age of Samir and Anand is a ratio of 5:4. So present age, I'll just mark. So present age of Samir and Anand let's consider it's 5x and this is 4x. 3 year hence, that means plus 3 I'll mark, right? So 3 years hence is nothing but how much? 5x plus 3, and this is 4x plus 3. And now 3 years hence, Samir and Anand's ages were in the ratio of 5x plus 3 divided by 4x plus 3 is in the ratio of 11:9, right? So this value is how much? 45x plus 27 is equal to 44x plus 33, right? So x value now will be how much? 27 minus 33, sorry, 33 minus 27 is nothing but 6. X value has to be 6. That means now it has to be how much? 6 into 4 is 24 and 6 into 5 is supposed to be 30, right? So I'm talking about is, right? So is now is nothing but 30 here, right? So I can go by this format also, but I would always suggest first check your options, check your priorities. If the option satisfies, you can always go by the options, right? So options को check करें, option अगर satisfy कर रहा है तो it's definitely very easy for you to work on the value. Okay. Next one. 5th question. 6 years ago, the ratio of the ages of Kunal and Sagar was 6:5. 4 years hence, the ratio of the ages will be at the ratio of 11:10. What is Sagar's age at present, right? So at present they are talking about. So 6 years ago and 4 years hence. Right, so what are the things you can do? You can do two things. If I'm going by the option, definitely cannot be determined is not an answer possible here, because I'll have two different equations. Two different equations with two variables means what? I should have a unique answer possible, right? So let's do one thing. We are interested in which person? Sagar. So 6 years ago, let's subtract 6 from each and every value. Let's subtract 6 from each and every value here. So this value is nothing but 10. Let's subtract 6 from each value. This value is nothing but 12. This value is nothing but 14. And what was the condition? It was a multiple of 5. There is only one value which is a multiple of 5 now, is nothing but 10. That means my value should definitely be 16. But to cross check, I'll move on the other side. 4 years hence, that means plus 4 is nothing but 20. Right, plus 4 is nothing but 22, plus 4 is nothing but 24. The only option which satisfies the condition is about 16. So my answer should definitely be 16 in this case, right? So my answer will definitely be 16. But let's cross check. Let's go by the basic format. So I'll mark 3 parameters. Present is 6 years back and 4 years hence, right? That's my condition given. So 6 years ago, the ratio of the ages of Kunal and Sagar. So Kunal and Sagar were in the ratio of 6:5. Suppose 6x, 5x. So presently it's how much? 6x plus 6 and 5x plus 6. Here it will be how much? 6x plus 10 and 5x plus 10. So now it's given 6x plus 10 divided by 5x plus 10 should be in the ratio of 11:10, right? So let's do a cross multiplication. 60x plus 100 should be equal to 55x plus 110, right? So 5x is equal to 10. X value is nothing but 2. So since x value is 2, they are talking about Sagar's age. That's nothing but 2 into 5 plus 6. The value is supposed to be 16. Right? So maximum time you can definitely go by the options to find out the relations here. The sum of the present age of a father and his son is 60 years. 6 years ago, father's age was 5 times the age of the son. After 6 years, son will be how much? Okay. Here, definitely if you're not working on the equation, you can always work on the options. So here, according to this, my condition is if I subtract 6 from these values, right? So 6, then 8, then 12, and then 14, right? Suppose these are the ages available, right? So these are nothing but the present age. So present age of son is nothing but 6. That represents father's age is supposed to be 54, right? And now from this, the problem is if we'll subtract 6, then 5:1 is not possible, right? So 8, let's consider, then the value is 52. Let's subtract 6, not possible here. From 12, it's about 48. Let's subtract let's subtract 6 from this. Then again 5 times the son's age. No, it's not possible here. And if we'll subtract it from 60, right, that means the remaining value is nothing but 46. From 46, I'll subtract 6. Definitely this is a value which could satisfy the condition, right? So that's the first thing which we have identified from the options, right? Because if we'll subtract 6 from both the values, now the value is nothing but 40 and this is nothing but 8. Now 40 is 5 times of 8, which will definitely satisfy the condition. So answer should definitely be D here, which is nothing but 20 years. But let's go by the basic calculation. So first thing, identify through the options. Easy एक ऐसा format है जहाँ you can always go by the options to find out the relation. The sum of the present age of the father and his son is 60 years. 6 years ago, father's age was 5 times the age of son. Right? So here 6 years back, let's go 6 years back presently. Father's age and son's age. Father's age, son's age is nothing but x. Father's age is nothing but 5x. Now according to this, 5x plus 6 and x plus 6, the summation of these should be equal to 60, right? So nothing but 6x plus 12. Also we can say 6x is equal to 48. So x value is nothing but 8 here, right? X value is 8, right? That was the condition at this time, right? So now 6 years hence, it's how much? X plus 12, nothing but 8 plus 12. My value is nothing but 20. My value is supposed to be 20 in this case, right? So previous class contest question. So here, what is the value of sine square 60, cos square 30, cot square 45, sec square 60, cosec square 30 and cos square 0? Let's try to identify. So for that, let's talk about the values first. So how much is sine 60? Sine 60 is nothing but root 3 by 2. That means sine square 60 now is nothing but 3 by 4. That's the first value here. Second one is nothing but cos square 30 is also 3 by 4. Then cot 45. So cot square 45 is nothing but 1. Now sec 60. Now sec 60 is what? Sec 60 is nothing but opposite of 1 by cos square 60 is nothing but sec, right? So cos 60 was nothing but 1 by 2. So this value is 1 by 4 and opposite, that means it's nothing but 4 here. And then cosec is opposite of sine, right? So sine 30 is nothing but 1 by 2, that means it's again cosec square theta is nothing but 4, and cos 0 is nothing but 0, so this is nothing but 0. So nothing but 3 by 4 plus 3 by 4 plus 1 plus 4 minus 4 plus 0, right? So it's the summation of these values here. So let's add these values. Well, let's see whether we have missed in any other value. Sec square is equal at 40, that is already cancelled, right? 1 by cos square cosec is also 4, that is cancelled. Cos square 0 is 0, that is also cancelled, right? So let's check which is the value which could satisfy the condition here. So it's saying about 3 by 2 plus 1, right? Let's see any value which we have missed. I think because none of the option is in this format, because it has to be 5 by 2. Now let's check. So sine square 60 root 3 by 4, cos square 30 is root 3 by 4, cot square 45, cot square 45 is also 1, right? And then cosec square, sorry, sec square 60 is, that's correct, 4, and it has nothing but correct. The value has to be 3 by 4 plus 3 by 4. Every value we have mapped here, and cos is also 0. Every value is mapped here, right? It is supposed to be 5 by 2, right? Anyhow, so that will be the value possible here, right? So it's a time for the contest question. Let's go for the contest question here. As we know, the rule of the contest question is it's a time allotted for 1 minute. The one who solve it in the fastest way possible will always get an atom session. Atom session is nothing but a dot clearing session where whenever you will post a dot, the winner who will post the dot will be get clarification the dots within 20 minutes of posting the dots, right? So let's directly move to the contest question, right? So timer is running, try to work on this. Okay, time up. Let's move to the next slide then. Right. At present, the ratio between the ages of Arun and Deepak is 4:3. After 6 years, Arun's age will be 26 years. What is the age of Deepak at present? Okay, now you can also identify from the options. So Arun's age, I'll mark A and D here. they are in the ratio of 4 is to 3, 4x and 3x, right? That means the Arun's age should be a multiple of 4. After 6 years, it's nothing but 26. That means presently it has to be nothing but 26 minus 6. That's nothing but 20 in this case. And I know they are in the ratio of 4 is to 3. That means if this is 20, this has to be 15. So I can definitely go by the options to identify the relation here. That's the first thing which we can do in these cases. But let's go by the format. So at present the ratio between the ages is 4 is to 3 after 6 years. So 4x, and now it's but 4x plus 6 is nothing but 26. That means 4x is nothing but 20, x value is nothing but 5. So x value is 5, that means this is 20 and this is nothing but 15. In this case the value is nothing but 15. Right. Question number 8. The present ages of 3 persons in proportions 4 is to 7 is to 9. 8 years ago the sum of their ages were 56. Find the present age. Right. So again I can go by the options because the numbers should be in the ratio of 4 is to 7 is to 9. Right. So first one is not in the ratio of 4 is to 7 is to 9. But I have an option as none of these also. Right. So it should satisfy both the criteria. It should be in the ratio of 4 is to 7 is to 9, as well as the summation should be nothing but 56 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8 should be the value, right? So first thing is, let's see which all are in the ratio of 4 to 7 is to 9. So this is the value which is in the ratio of 4 to 7 is to 9, as well as this is the value which is in the ratio of 4 to 7 is to 9, right? So if we'll add the values, if we'll take 45 plus 35 is already 80, 80 plus 20 is 100, 56 plus 24 is not 100. So definitely this cannot be the answer possible. It has to be B in this case, right? So if I'll go by the options, definitely it has to be B. But let's try to check the other formats. The present ages of 3 persons, let's say persons are A, B and C. Their ages are in the ratio of 4 is to 7 is to 9. Let's consider 4x, 7x and this is 9x, right? So 8 years back, what are the ages? -8, -8 and -8, right? So if I'll add these values, 4x plus 7x plus 9x is how much? 4 plus 9 is 13 plus 7, 20. So 20x minus 24 has to be nothing but 56. So 20x should be equal to 56 plus 24, right? That's nothing but 80. X value has to be nothing but 4. So x value is 4. That means 4x is equal to 16. Then 7x is equal to 28 and 9x is equal to 36. These are my values possible, right? That's nothing but option B. 16 is to 28 is to 36 will be my value possible here. Right. Now question number 9. Sometimes the questions will be wordy, which you have to identify, but maximum time you have to check the clues if it's a wordy part. So Aisha's father was 38 years of age when she was born, while her mother was, so I'll mark Aisha, father and mother, right? Aisha's father was 38 years of age. So when Aisha was 0, father's age was 38, while her mother was 36 years old when her brother 4 years younger to her was born, right? So now I'll use one more term as brother in this case, right? So brother, when brother was 0, Aisha was 4, that represents father was supposed to be how much? 38 plus 4, 42, and mother now is nothing but 36, right? So Okay. So now if this is 36, I can definitely find out this value. That's nothing but 34. Although that is not required now, because now if we'll identify, the question is what is the difference between the age of her parents. So if we'll take this difference or this difference, it does not make any difference, right? Because the ages are moving in the same constant rate, right? So that means next year the age will be +1 +1, so the difference will always be a constant part. If that's my condition, I can directly take the difference between these two. Okay, sorry, this is not, this is 32 here, right? So my difference is how much? My difference is but 6. Let's take this part as a difference or this part as a difference. My difference will always be 6. So my difference is nothing but 6. My value is nothing but 6 years in this case. Right. 10th one. The age of father 10 years ago was thrice the age of his son. Right. So my condition is, I'll mark present age 10 years back and 10 years. Right. So here father and son, the age of father is 10 years ago was thrice the age of his son. So let's say son's age is x, father's age was about 3x. Presently it's about 3x plus 10 and it's about x plus 10. Then now 10 years hence, that means 3x plus 20 and this is x plus 20, right? So 10 years hence father's age will be twice of that his son. So I can say 3x plus 20 divided by x plus 20 is 2:1. So 3x plus 20 has to be equal to 2x plus 40, right? So now I'll take the difference here. That's what x is equal to 20. So x is equal to 20. That means this value, I'm interested in which part? Present, right? So present is nothing but this part here. So 3x plus 10, which is nothing but 70 in this case, and x plus 10, which is nothing but 30. That means the ratio now is nothing but 7:3. My value is supposed to be 7:3, right? The other thing which you can identify here is nothing but at this point the ratio was how much? You can take the approximation. Here it's number 3:1, right? At this point the ratio is nothing but 2:1, right? So it should be somewhere in between 3:1 and 2:1, not exactly in between, right? So here it should not be exactly in between, right? Because it's moving in the format of exponent, right? So that means a value should be not exactly in between here. It should be slightly, you can say, lesser than half of the value, sorry, half of average of the given two values here. So if we'll take 5:2, that means in the ratio of 2.5:1, which is not my requirement. It should be slightly lesser than half, right? 9/2 is nothing but in the ratio of 4.5 something, which is not possible. 13/4 is nothing but in terms of 3 something, that is also not possible here. So this is not possible. 7/3 is how much? It's number 2:2.33, right? So my value is definitely possible 2.33. It should be definitely, if it's 3:1, 2:1, it should be slightly lesser than half of this value. That means it should be slightly less than 2.5. I'll go for that option which is slightly lesser than 2.5. So the only option which is lesser than 2.5 is nothing but 3:7. So I could have directly utilized this one to work on, right? So you can always take these kind of things to work on in these questions, right? So these were the basic questions which has appeared in the examinations related to ages. So what are the things which we have learned today? We have learned some of the basic concepts related to the problem part. The basic concepts are nothing but I have to deal with the ratio part, or else I have to work on the algebraic expressions, right? These two are the things which we have identified. You have to utilize your options to work on, right? Whenever a ratio is given, that's always a hint. Utilize your options to work on. These are some of the important things which you need to keep in mind whenever you're working on the ages problems, right? So thanks for joining us. I hope you might have liked the class. If you have liked the class, please share this video with your friends so that they can be getting benefited with the videos which we provide. Now it's a CPP time. So you know what is a CPP time. CPP time is nothing but the class practice pack time. So in this part, there will be 10 best questions will be provided, which we have discussed today. So CPP is definitely unlocked for those who are the passport members. They can immediately go and solve the questions. For non-passport members, CPP is locked. The best way to work on that is to subscribe for the passport. There are a lot of benefits for subscribing to the passport. You'll get access for the test for the entire years. Every kind of test will be available, access to all the practice questions, and you'll get a lot of bonus contents, right? So now passport members, start solving the CPP questions right away. All the best. Thank you.